Hello, everybody. You guys want to come on up? Both of you did great presentations. Let's give them a hand. You know, when you're invited to a conference and you're asked to moderate a panel, you never know who you're going to have on the panel. And actually, I got to applaud the genius and give kudos to Social Bakers for the scheduling of these two, because first we had a great talk about cryptocurrency, which I'm sure many of you out there were thinking, man, I've got to get into this and make myself a bunch of money, which falls in line perfectly with what Blake was talking about, because after you make all that money, you can be going on luxury escapes.
That's good. I like
so one common thread that I found between what the two of you are doing is cryptocurrency is extremely popular, travel is very popular, and I think from a content perspective, you're both blessed in that sense, is that you have an already interested audience that is out there. So I was kind of hoping you could talk about some of your content strategies and what are your expectations from those strategies and how you measure success.
Yeah, I guess one of the things is with Finder is cryptocurrency is probably about 2% of the business. The rest of the business is obviously talking about banking products, insurance, like life insurance, things which aren't interesting, they're boring. And in that sense, we've struggled, I guess, a lot with social media. And strategically, we've had to be very, very creative. So we'll talk to a topic which is sort of nearby or next door to the topic, and really talk about that. So an example, in life insurance, we did a massive piece on digital death. So what happens online when you die? What happens to your Facebook account? What happens to your YouTube account, your Gmail, your Tinder profile? You know, all those kind of things.
Actually, that's kind of interesting because unfortunately, I do have friends that have passed away at my age. And I get the birthday alerts every year, and it's kind of a strange little, reminder. Yeah. So what does happen? Do the families take them over? Are they allowed?
Yeah, some companies allow you to take them over, some companies don't. But, it's an interesting topic. It's something that's talkable, it's social, and enabled us to basically talk about life insurance because death and life are quite connected. And so strategically what we try and do there, so we try and find a topic that's nearby, interesting, entertaining. You can talk about the topic at the bar. If you're at a bar, you can hang out and you're going to talk about the topic. That's how we sort of approach that, because no one wants to sit around and look at their credit card statement or their mortgage. Like, it just doesn't happen.
Certainly wouldn't want to do that live, right?
No.
Look, he's checking out his bill. How about you?
Yeah, look, I think it depends on what type of content we're trying to deliver to what type of audience and the result that we want from that audience. So we've kind of got two content focuses. One is deals driven. So that is about writing something that sells. So what are the key selling points around a particular hotel? Does it have Bali's biggest pool? Is the buffet breakfast renowned? These types of things. And I would think that that's probably the same for almost any product. What are the things that are going to resonate with an audience, and what are the things that are going to be most sellable? So that's boring stuff, but it works really well. Then there's the stuff that where you're trying to engage a brand new audience, an audience which either doesn't know you, or if they do know you, they don't necessarily trust you. And so that's where we try to leverage things like Facebook Live to show that we're real, because online companies often have either a too good to be true perception or they're just distrusted. So that's where we rely on video a lot. And that's where we try to also have opinion pieces. So, top 10 lists and all of these types of things that we can throw out to a consumer base and then have them see that we are subject matter experts.
It's interesting you talk about boring content. There was actually a promotion in South Korea a couple of years ago for desk chairs. I guarantee most of you could not name one brand of desk chairs, maybe two. And what they did is they enhanced their desk chairs in these 15-second spots. They did a whole series of them where these desk chairs would do miraculous things. If you sit in the desk chair, suddenly you're funny at the meeting. It would cure your hangover. If you sit in the desk chair, suddenly you were multilingual. So what they had done is taken what would be considered a boring topic and created great engageable content. So what advice would you have for maybe those brands out there who are thinking to themselves, you know, I'm not ready to really go Facebook Live, or I'm not ready to try to engage my content with an audience? What advice would you give to them?
I think that every actual brand does have something interesting. It's just, it's hidden. It's actually the thing, you know, when you talk about your company and they go and you explain what it does, and the first conversation someone has about something about the company, normally that thing you should go and highlight, because that'll be the talkable piece. So is it that you have a really weird looking office? Does your logo look a little bit, you know, like a squirrel, or whatever it may be? Play up the thing that might, like everyone talks about, but I guess is kind of sensitive inside the company, and embrace that, move towards that.
And it kind of gives you that more personal relationship, like we're showing our other side, maybe the side, like a lot of brands are doing that nowadays where they're making fun of themselves.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think that brings a lot of trust. And I think that's the biggest currency it's going to be, I guess, traded going forward. You know, if you look at...
I like the way you slipped in currency trading there.
Yeah.
Nice. Cryptocurrency trading.
Yeah, definitely. You know, and I think you can create something as well. So we just recently had a massive sale. So we had 150 brands give us exclusive deals for 3 days, for 72 hours. And we actually changed our entire front page to be the sale page, which was very risky, right? And that just brought, you know, ridiculous amounts of social, you know, Google, referral, WhatsApp, like all forms of traffic. Like, do something new. Do something that's talkable. Create something that's nearby or relevant to yourself.
Oh, great. Blake?
Yeah, look, I think that's really important. I only reiterate all of those comments. We had an issue where our target market is mature, so predominantly 50 plus, yet our staff are all young. And we'd stand up at conferences or things like that, or little road shows for consumers, and I'd get off stage and everyone would say, how do you guys expect us to trust you if every single person on stage delivering the message to us is, you know, 20, 30 years our junior, right? So we created the senior intern. And it was literally after watching that movie, is that with De Niro? Robert De Niro.
The one where he goes back to work, he's an older guy. Yeah,
he goes back to work as a senior intern. And we were sitting on a plane, myself and the founder, and I was like, hang on, there's something in this. Our demographic is this. Our employee base is this. Why don't we go and change the perception of our company by going and employing a couple of senior interns? We'll train them in social, give them blogging exercises. We then sent them around the world to review hotels. Now, of course, they had a great time. But that went around the world.
How did that go? What was the audience reaction?
Extraordinary. So we got 9,000 applications from people over the age of 60 who applied for the senior intern role. Then we went through a rigorous selection process.
That's amazing.
And then from a PR perspective, everyone was loving it. So we're an Australian company. It went all over the world. And so we started getting all this visitation to our website for such a basic concept. It didn't cost us anything other than pay some flights to get these individuals around the world reviewing hotels.
Oh, that's really interesting.
So I think I echo that point. Just find something creative and interesting, or look at the problems your company has and reverse engineer those and find a way to take them out to market.
So it seems like a good takeaway would be new and you.
Yeah.
So I think one of the best examples that I know of this is, does anyone know the Michelin star guide, the restaurants? So, you know, you drive around Europe and, you know, or wherever it may be around the world and you see the Michelin star guide. If you think about that, what kind of company made the Michelin star guide?
A tire company.
A tire company. So if everyone's selling the same tires, they've gone and made probably one of the greatest content marketing pieces of all of time. And it doesn't even seem like it's connected to tires anymore. But all they wanted to do is get people drive around more on their tires so they could sell more tires. But you constantly say Michelin, 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 Michelin.
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, and that's what you would take another seemingly mundane product and turn it into something, you know, hugely resonant, around the world. Blake, I was kind of curious. You talked about the senior intern program. I would imagine your demographic is across the board, that you're getting all age groups. How about you as soon as you see luxury, you imagine a certain customer profile. Who are most of the people that are doing business with you?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, our brand is challenged. It's a great brand name for a lot of reasons. One, it explicitly states what we do. But the reason it's a challenge is because most people perceive luxury to be out of reach. And what we're actually selling is accessibility. Everything is the best price on earth for what we sell. And so it's really interesting. We hear lots and lots of people say, well, I'd never shop from Luxury Escapes because I can't afford it. Yeah, we've got product on Luxury Escapes which is $149 Australian, all the way up to $20,000, sure, but it's accessible. And so our demographic has historically been someone who does actually perceive themselves to be in a stage of life where they can afford luxury. Our challenge now is how we take our brand to market and get a cross-section of the community, get a younger population, and of course a Southeast Asian population as we expand into this market. And luxury means different things to different people, and it tends to change depending on the product we sell. If you sell the W Resort in Koh Samui, that appeals to a younger demographic. If you sell a tour of Egypt, that tends to appeal to an older demographic. So we started out older, more mature, and now we're coming back this way.
I'd like to shift the topic over to video. Obviously, that's a big trend right now, especially live video. And you made a great, I like you say it, let me check here. You said, perfect is not an option in live video. And I wonder if that scares a lot of brands, for one, of getting in front of a live camera. I mean, not everybody has the charisma. And also of not being in control of what's happening. So how do you address those concerns as far as doing live video shooting? Do you worry about things? I mean, or have you just erased it from your head and just let's let the brand run and see where it goes, where the announcers take it?
Yeah, I mean, I think Fred's clearly a successful founder and entrepreneur, and founders and entrepreneurs will tend to take risks more so than other people. So probably feel a little more comfortable in the perfect is not an option type phrase. For me, it comes down to, well, it depends on the size of your organisation, but there will be someone in your organisation who is more charismatic. There will be someone in your organisation who loves to talk. There will be someone in your organisation who loves to be the face, be it with their friends, be it in front of a camera, whatever it might be. And so you find that person. And then as a business owner, and probably Fred better to speak to this, the ownership needs to be comfortable with this idea that you're an experimentation culture, that you are willing to make mistakes and you are willing to stand up in front of a camera and not be word perfect. We did have a classic case though. We've just forged a really, really significant partnership with Qantas. And myself and one of their executives were jumping on an LE Live, so a Luxury Escapes live broadcast, and their PR agency handed me a script. And I said, I don't script LA Live. I said, I created the concept, I feel comfortable in my own skin, I'm talking about Luxury Escapes, you guys can script your message if you like, but it may look a bit awkward if I'm just sort of having a chat. And then they actually wanted it to be recorded and then broadcast live. And I said, but that's
not live.
That's not live. And it's different to what we've... So I get it, it's tough. If you're an established brand out there and you've got bureaucracy and politics and things like that, maybe it's a little harder. What I'd say is find someone in the organisation at an executive level who is willing to take that leap.
And get them in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think spokesperson, that's really you're talking about. Who is your spokesperson? Who's the person that represents your brand is it's not an easy choice. You take a company like Amazon. I think there's only like 5 people at Amazon that can speak about Amazon. I think there's only 2 people at Apple that can speak about Apple. So it is a very considered thing you need to make. We try and match the demographic, like you were saying. If you were talking to a younger audience, we try and get a younger person. If you are talking to an older audience, you might take an older person. So we do try and match that because I think people want to hear from their peers.
Yep.
You know, I think, but we've put a lot of people up that we thought were really good as well, and they're just a bit boring, you know. And then other people, they're like, we just didn't think they were really exciting, and they turned out to be really zany, and it was like, wow, those people are awesome. You know, didn't see that coming. So I think it's about just, you know, like you're saying, Blake, it's testing a few things, trying a few things, being okay to fail. We've made lots and lots of failures on Finder. There are lots of videos that have only had like, 10 views. They're just sitting out there, those boring YouTube videos that never get seen again, the lost YouTube's archives.
Well, I think there's something to be said for, with our friends, we accept their fallibilities, their problems, their errors. And I think with brands as well, that there's realness, this genuine nature of brands. And when that comes across in video and in content, I think it's really great for resonating with the customers, right?
Yeah, 100%.
We don't have much time left. You had touched on customer service, being able to do customer service. Are you also engaging in customer service online?
We have 24/7 customer service worldwide.
In chat?
In chat and in comments. And I think like you were saying, we've brought that customer service team very much into the regular discussions and regular chats of the working groups. So in Finder, if you work in credit cards, you work in credit cards, or if you work in cryptocurrency, you work in cryptocurrency, and the customer service people are a part of the same team. So that all those people sit together and work together.
And they've got a great knowledge of their particular area.
Right, and they bring that, what is actually happening on the customer. Like, as everyone's, everyone forgets at the end of the day, you're serving someone. So we bring that person and we always want to hear, what are the comments, what's the feedback? And Finder has 5 values, and our third value is go live, which means get it on the internet. If it doesn't exist if it's not on the internet, it doesn't actually exist. It's nothing, right? And sometimes we launch a little too early. Sometimes we launch a little late, but mostly we launch very, very quickly, and then we iterate really fast. And so customer service for us it enables our business process, which is get something live, keep improving it, go live, go live, go live, go live, move fast, move fast, move fast, listen to the customer, get the feedback, and just keep launching. And that's not easy. We make mistakes, but our crew are working tirelessly to make the best site to help people make decisions. Right? It's non-stop.
Oh, right. Blake? Actually, let me maybe frame it a little bit more. What has been the reaction of your client base as far as are they happy with this medium in dealing with customer service, or is there a yearning to have the live voice again? And what has been the reaction from the customers?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think certain people would still like us to be like a travel agent and have shop fronts, particularly when you're talking about higher priced travel product, where you don't necessarily feel comfortable just dropping a credit card in for a $6,000 Maldives experience. So I think it's different for different people. Mostly they have been driving that for us, right? They're asking questions on Facebook, and we only had a marketer in there. We didn't have a customer experience person in there. And so now we do, because those consumers are there asking us to engage with them in that environment, and they deem it to be quicker. They've decided, probably because other great companies have driven that change among those customers. But if we weren't there, we'd have a really upset group of customers.
Right.
I'm not saying the phone doesn't ring regularly. It does. But more and more we're seeing that Facebook is the path, and even to some extent Instagram. Someone will look at an image and then say, oh yeah, but by the way, what about this, this and this and this? Nothing to do with the image whatsoever. It's to do with Luxury Escapes, our value proposition, what we might have sold in the past, or a customer service challenge they've got. So I suppose the short answer is they've embraced it.
Oh, great. I would love to sit and talk with you guys for a couple more hours. But we've only got a few minutes left, and we did want to open it up to questions. So I think we could do 2 questions. So if any of you out there do have a question, there are mics around the room.
Hey guys, Question for Blake. You mentioned you have one person dedicated to Facebook, managing Facebook inquiries and inbound. That's not really scalable, right? When you just have one person. So how do you make it so when people are responding and they get used to response on Facebook 24/7, are you going to scale up that team? Are you thinking of other ways? Are you looking at chatbots?
Yeah, great question. It's definitely not scalable to have one person sitting there, and they certainly can't sit there 24/7. We'd be breaking the law. So I suppose there's two answers. One, we don't just want to keep on layering on headcount. It's too expensive. But we will do that for a period of time. And we'll hire another 3 people in 2018, specifically orientated to customer service in either a live chat environment or a Facebook environment. Long term, though, we'll have a bot, a chat bot, and that will cover, hopefully, 80% of inquiries. So if I was to ask my customer experience manager how many tickets he's got in the queue right now, he might say 6,000 odd. And I might say, what percentage of those are, how do I change my password? And he would say 25%, which is a lot. And I would say, well, a bot can fix that quite easily, both on the site and in a Facebook environment. But there's some things which are more complex and will always require human engagement. So can I have a rollaway bed in my room at the Grand Hyatt is a very different answer to can I have a rollaway bed in my room at the Marriott, JW Marriott in Singapore. Now maybe you can code to those nuances, but it's challenging. So I think the short answer is we'll scale a little bit from a headcount perspective, and then we'll work with Facebook and probably Salesforce to integrate a bot.
Any other questions? Everybody's hungry? All right, well, let's go get something to eat. Thanks a lot, guys. Let's give them a hand. And hope you have a great time. A lot more great presenters to come, and I'm sure that all of you will walk out of here a lot better off than you were when you walked in. So have a great day, meet a lot of people, and we'll see you after lunch.